Welcome everyone to the ultimate Gears of War 1 retrospective. I wanted to cover this video because of the release of Gears of War Reloaded coming in a couple of weeks now, and I am very excited to be playing this game for the third time after it's been remastered twice. Obviously the big change this time is that it's also coming to PlayStation, which for an Xbox exclusive is a huge thing. We've already had the likes of Forza Horizon going over to PlayStation, and it's been so well received that Xbox are now stepping into the market of PlayStation and stepping away from exclusivity. So we're probably going to see the likes of the Halo Combat Evolved remaster going to PlayStation, obviously Gears of War Reloaded going to PlayStation, Forza Horizon series going forward going over to PlayStation as well, and probably loads of others too. However, ladies and gentlemen, in this video we're going to be going over the best bits of Gears of War 1, covering the story just a little bit, how good this game holds up today considering it originally released in 2007, the lead up to that release and the controversy of its release as well, and just how good this game is in general. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this video as much as I did making it. It was a lot of fun. Without further ado everyone, let's dive straight into this video. The Gears of War franchise has always been extremely close to my heart, and is renowned for its emphasis on gore and war. This is the game where everyone in the Gears of War universe has the same genetics as Ronnie Coleman. There is not one person in this game that is not jacked up to the nines. Scoring a massive 94 on Metacritic, this is a game that all Xbox and PC players must experience at least once in their life. Game back in 2006 was an absolute commercial success, selling over 3 million copies within 10 weeks of its initial launch. It became the fastest selling game of 2006, the second most played game ever on Xbox Live during 2007, and bearing in mind that was the year that Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Halo 3 released. Not to mention it was also the 6th best-selling Xbox 360 game of all time. The hype surrounding the trailers for this all the way back in 2005 was absolutely outstanding, and going into 2006 for its expected release, it was one of the most anticipated games of that year. And the fact that Gears of War is an Xbox exclusive, Microsoft needed the Xbox 360 to get off to a good start in this new console generation, especially coming off the back of the reign of the PlayStation 2 being so dominant in the last few years. Now, for a developer like Epic to brand their new major IP for the Xbox 360 to emphasize the likes of gore and blood and just general all-out warfare was huge back in the day. This was a big risk, not just from a player perspective but also a media perspective. If this was ridiculously over the top, this may not have got the reception that it might have deserved when it was first launched and even shown at E3. It was even seen by some of the Microsoft producers that the gore might be too much, and the Epic needed to dial it back a little bit for when E3 came around.
We need to get the chainsaw attack in. So we basically have made a priority decision that we're prioritizing the chainsaw attack over grenades and over pistol. It's what makes Gears Gears, and we need to have that moment at E3.
Peter Moore is not fine with the chainsaw.
Well, I guess Peter Moore's contention about the saw is that it's a little, over the top gory.
That's exactly what the kind of branding we were going for, I thought.
We understand that, so does Peter. That's not something that we can change at this point.
Luckily, the developers, though, got their own way and were able to showcase this game in its full glory with all of the gore and blood that was meant to be there. And man, did it leave an impression on the people and the media.
My name is Cliff Blazinski. The game is Gears of War. Let's check it out. Chainsaw YouTube.
Delta, this is 6-1. There's something moving below ground. Over. I see him too, 6-1. What are we looking at?
Epic delivered, Epic over-delivered. They did a great job for E3, and I think that creative difference, that conflict, is the way you get a better game.
Another figurehead being the likes of Rob Ferguson, who was the producer on Gears of War back then. Ray Davies, who was the lead programmer, along with many of the team members from the likes of Microsoft's studios, one being Robert Gerald, and even executive producer Laura Fryer, who helped pull the team together at times when they would start to veer off track, or bring them back to level ground when they were going off with an outlandish idea. Epic Games had a lot of expectations on their shoulders by the gaming world and Microsoft, and rightly so, with their portfolio of games released in the years before. Games ranging from Unreal Tournament series, which was a huge success for the company by the way. Epic Games wanted to create something that was something completely different, going into the waters so deep that they didn't really know if it would succeed or fail, and that was where Gears of War was born. Gears of War was designed with the mindset of it being a cinematic experience in an alternate sci-fi world, with a blend of high-tech and low-tech, the cog being with the machines, robots and essentially very technologically advanced, and compared to the Locust, which were very technologically inferior, stealing and scavenging resources from the cog and utilising it to their advantages. The vision of one man, Marcus Phoenix, war traitor and imprisoned for his actions and war crimes, which again remain a mystery to the player at the beginning of the game. Going from that all the way to war hero, saving the world and ending the war with the Locusts, or as they thought, with the player starting to learn more and more around the backstory of Marcus as the story progresses on. The vision for this game was met 1,000 times over for me, with a great team behind the project which all shared the same vision, which is so important for the success of a game. And this was very apparent for one game in particular which has been released that didn't follow that same path. This just shows how much better a game can be if the whole team are following the same development path. The introduction to Gears of War is done in a way to get the player wondering, right? You hear the voices of what seems like a female antagonist in the game, detailing the events that preceded the first mission and something called Emergence Day, how the defense of the cog was overrun by the Locust and eventually they became just too much for the cog. Billions of innocents' lives completely gone. The cog denied the Locust control by destroying and killing their own civilization, using something called the Hammer of Dawn to carry out this action. And throughout the campaign you do realise that this is one of the big reasons why all of the civilians actually really hate the cog. And as you progress through the campaign you can really see some of the civilians actually really resent against the cog for some of these actions, and it really does paint the picture during the campaign, and you get that tension between all of the people that you encounter.
I don't want people seeing me with you, all right? It's not good for business, man.
Give me that junker of yours.
Say what? Get real, man.
So how does the Gears of War gameplay stand out? What makes it so iconic to me and to millions of other people that love this franchise even to this day? The vision of the developers back when the game was being developed make it so anyone can pick up a controller and just play the game, rather than having to spend 30 minutes figuring out the game's complicated mechanics. A is to sprint, roll and get into cover, the triggers are to aim, shoot, reload, and B is to melee or use your Lancer chainsaw. That's really all you need to know about playing this game. Extremely simplistic, and even the developers have said this in multiple interviews.
Gears of War is about fluid in and out of cover, being able to take cover anywhere. The weapons are easy to use. It's very sort of intuitive, and we're finding that with press people and new people coming onto the project that they're able to pick it up and play pretty quickly. And so people are having fun because it's so easy to play. It's ruined me for a couple of games that have come out because they're just so difficult to navigate and play. So I find it's just its simplicity is what makes it different for me.
It's a really fluid experience, and I've got to give credit to the developers for making it that easy. I love the way Gears feels, and it has evolved over time since this first one. The likes of Gears of War 5 has improved upon this, and I can only presume Gears of War 6 will make some innovations as well. It's so simplistic, and the satisfaction of using your chainsaw on the Locusts never gets old for me. But the way this game is designed, it really does put a focus around gameplay choices. For example, sprinting allows the player to move a lot quicker. However, while sprinting you can't shoot and your screen vision is impaired slightly. Shooting behind cover is great when injured and under pressure, but accuracy is massively hindered by that. Aiming down sight in cover provides half body cover, and you are a lot more accurate when doing so, but you're massively vulnerable on your upper part of your body. This is a game that's so simplistic in its design, but is so effective in its execution, and Gears is one of the best in the business at doing that. Now let's talk about enemy design and AI. For the most part, the AI isn't terrible, but fucking hell, they can be stupid sometimes and definitely show their age. Dom, where are you going? Dom, where are you going? Okay, Dom, where did you go see? Oh, for fuck's sake. Dom, what are you doing? This is the final boss. Dom, stop. Oh, for fuck's sake, Dom. Dom, please. Look, Dom, don't stop. Stop. Come back. Dom, come back. Where are you going? Come back. Look, some games were just way ahead of their time back in the day. Take Halo Combat Evolved, for example. The enemy AI was absolutely outstanding and it holds up so well even today, and dare I say, it's even better than some of the modern games AI that we can play and see today. It was way ahead of its time, and you can see elements of this in Gears of War's AI. It's even just the simplest of things as well. As an example, in Halo Combat Evolved, there are many different audio cues that you'll hear before an enemy does try to strike you or try to combat you in some way. An elite will give you a audio cue when they're going to melee you. Now this is the same for the AI in Gears of War. For example, the Locusts will always give you an audio cue when they're going to spawn in through a hole in the ground, or when they're going into a new location and the Locusts know your presence, you will always have an audio cue for that as well.
Oh yeah!
Not to mention when you spawn in boomers as well and they start shooting, they actually give you a sound effect before they shoot their weapon. This is really key and, to be honest, isn't done enough in modern gaming for me. This for me is so useful when playing on the likes of the hardest difficulty, legendary or whatever it might be, but a lot of your deaths are your choices, they're your decisions and they're your bad decisions. If you make good decisions and are smart, you can prevent and dodge a lot of deaths because of these sound effects and audio cues that will, be implanted in your mind, and you can make decisions based upon hearing them. That was the beauty of Halo Combat Evolved, and they have actually replicated some of that within Gears of War's AI as well. The AI is intelligent enough to push you as well when you are hurt. They'll put pressure on the player and they'll make the battle feel more intense and more riskier. This is what makes your actions and decisions in combat so important, especially on those higher difficulties. Gears of War has never been renowned for its inciting level design or enemy interaction. The game doesn't try to copy another game's formula or be something that it's not. Gears of War's created its own unique genre and style of play, and to be honest, even to this day there aren't many games out there like this. The game had a very simplistic sandbox with only around 10 guns in it, 3 grenade types and 1 singular turret that can be occupied by yourself or the enemy. But at no time are you left wanting more or getting bored of the weapons that are available to you throughout the campaign or online. For example, the Lancer is extremely fun to use, especially with that chainsaw. The Ganasha Shotty is devastating up close and super satisfying to fire as well. The sniper rifle is so good at smashing through the skull of an enemy, and the bolt-up pistol can deliver a shot so powerful that it will smash your head into a million different pieces. All the guns that I've mentioned and the ones that I haven't are extremely well placed into the sandbox. Never at any single point did I choose to not use a weapon because it wasn't fun or it was underpowered in some way. Sometimes less is more, and this phrase fits in extremely well with Gears of War's sandbox. But the game in its nature is extremely simplistic. You'd think you'd get bored of consistently following these linear paths and fighting the same enemies over and over again, because you are. That's the beauty of Gears of War. But for some reason, you just don't get bored of it. If this was any other game out on Xbox, PlayStation or PC, you would probably get extremely bored of just fighting the same enemies over and over again, repeatedly following linear paths, doing missions that are telling you where to go. But there's something about Gears of War that doesn't make you feel like that. For someone that maybe doesn't like that style of game, then of course it might not be your cup of tea. But it has that sense of satisfaction about it when you're chainsawing a grub, or running shit scared from a berserker. Gears of War does linear level design in the right way. Now, an amazing example of this is that at multiple stages during the campaign, you're left with the choice to take 2 different paths. You can rather go left, or you can rather go right. Now, this is really good from a player perspective because it gives you, the player, the choice to decide to go wherever you want to in this situation. Along with that as well, it adds to replayability because you want to know what happens on the other side that you didn't choose, which allows you to go back and have a different experience the second time around playing the campaign, which I really like. This keeps it fresh in the player's mind because you can literally choose different paths every single time you play through this campaign. You can play through the campaign once and go left the entire time. You can play through it twice and go right the entire time, or you could mix it up a third, fourth, fifth time. This is a really good replayability factor, and I really like this option. Very simple though, it's done in the most simple way possible, but sometimes less is more, you know? The best way to describe Gears of War for me is a horde mode with a storyline, with characters which are just super fucking cool. Now, admittedly in this day and age, a game should be much more than just a campaign with a linear level design. We've seen a lot of criticism for games like Halo 4 and Halo 5, for example, following a very linear path, whereas games such as Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 3 have a much more open feel to their gameplay, and it gives you that more exploratory freedom and gives the player more of an excuse to just have a look around. And obviously with Halo Infinite as well, they gave you a complete open world in the campaign, but also mixed in linear level design with that as well, so you had a good mixture of both. Now, Gears of War doesn't have this, but at the same time, it doesn't really need it. In later games, they did kind of explore a more open feel, which I do applaud, and Gears of War 5 did attempt this, and I thought they did pull it off very well. But Gears of War 1 did a fantastic job in creating its own identity, and that's one of the main things that games nowadays lack a lot of, and that is identity. Now, the world is crafted beautifully. I thought the team at Epic did an absolutely amazing job, even on the old Xbox version of the game. But like many games from the glory years of gaming, they've given you a great set of collectibles to gather as well, and in Gears of War's case, there's cog tags. Cog tags are something very unique, which offer an amazing way to learn more around the universe of Gears of War and other elements of that as well. Now, per every act of the game, you have a set amount of cog tags that you can find throughout the campaign. These are hinted to you throughout the campaign as well through the Gears of War logo that will sometimes appear on walls and ceilings and things like that as well, just to notify you that there is a cog tag nearby. A lot of games nowadays will have you collect these collectibles and not really have any end goal for it, other than maybe an achievement or an in-game unlock or something like that, which isn't really always that enticing. But Gears of War does it right, and it does it different. The collection of these tags unlocks really cool in-game comics. These comics detail parts of the story that we may not have known previously and just fill in gaps, and also tell us parts from Emergent State and beyond that we wouldn't have known throughout the campaign itself. It's a really good way to find out the backstories of different characters and teams, and even missions they went on outside of the main campaign as well. I personally just think Epic did an amazing job with this overall. I thought the collectibles really served a purpose, and just they're really interesting to have a read through as well once you've finished the campaign. And again, it's a really good way to want you to go back into the campaign and search for those additional cog tags, along with choosing the different directions you want to go and just playing the campaign a bit differently every time. Many video game franchises which are successful have that one character or team that are remembered forever and known for their involvement in that particular game. The Master Chief, Cortana, Captain Price, Spyro, Mario and Luigi, you get the picture. Gears of War has this too, and that is Marcus Phoenix. If you show someone a picture of the original Gears of War box art, they're most likely going to know who is on the front of that cover. But it's not just Marcus's character or voice actor which makes the Gears so memorable. It's his team as well. Dom, Baird, Cole, and how can we forget the Carmine family? The voice acting, dialogue between the characters, and the banter is just so good in this game, and even further games. It's not cringy, it's not forced, and it's actually pretty funny at times.
Alright, this'll go faster if we split up. Cole, Baird, you head that way. We'll head right. Radio us when you find an entrance.
Oh man, I don't know, that sounds like a bad idea.
I'll be sure to take that under advisement, Cole. Now move it.
Yes, sir!
Come on, Cole. Let's move. Damn, Marcus. He'll get over it.
A lot of time in modern gaming, you'll find that developers try to force characters on you. When you try to make a character memorable, it can be for the wrong reasons and actually lead you to hate that character. Take Call of Duty Vanguard as a prime example of this. Sledgehammer came out with some absolute bollocks about there being no memorable characters in Call of Duty.
The iconic COD characters, because you don't really have that in Call of
Yeah, good one, mate. And they tried to force this cringy team onto us in Vanguard and make us love them. But that's really hard to do. Epic didn't do that, and they didn't try to force these set of characters onto us. The voice lines are very real, and they actually resemble the conversation and dialogue that you would have during a battle. It's intense, it's extremely alpha. Just take this for example. A war criminal imprisoned for his war crimes, Marcus Phoenix, broke free by his best friend Dom, later to meet up with Alpha Team and become their leader after their leader was obviously killed. Now the tension between Baird and Marcus Phoenix, who was this war prisoner, was obviously very real. Baird didn't think that he should have been the leader, but was chosen by the general. You can tell Baird doesn't necessarily like Marcus at first, but ultimately respects him. And you can see this more and more as the game progresses. 4 alpha males battling it out is honestly super cool to see. And the great thing is as well, they're all likable, especially Cole. This fucking guy is a living legend and my favourite character in the series by a mile.
You missed! You need glasses, sucker! Damn! Oh, you can't see straight? What am I
Holy shit! It's one guy!
Hold still!
So, in summary, Gears of War is one hell of a game. One of my favourites, and I would 100% recommend it to anyone that hasn't played it yet. Or, even if you're thinking of trying it out, definitely give it a go. The game's on Game Pass along with the other 5 games as well, and it's available to anyone who has that on PC or on Xbox. Give it a go, you will not be disappointed. It is only an Xbox exclusive though, so PlayStation, you won't be able to play this if you've got one. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I really like this game. It's one of my favourites ever. Has so many memories about it. And yeah, ultimately, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below if you've played it. If you've not, let me know what you think of it. I didn't want to spoil the story for anyone that hasn't played it or are looking to play it, so I didn't mention anything about it in here as well. But there are plenty of videos on YouTube as well if you want to learn more around the story. But if you guys want to know more, I'd be love to do more around Gears of War 2 and above as well, because yeah, they're just really, really good games. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the day, guys. Speak soon and take care.